Hello, everyone. How are you guys? It's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. I hope you guys are having a really good day. Third stream of the day. Three. So much to talk about today. I can't even stand it. And I've got dogs in here now, so you might hear some chewing, but they are alive and they are just sleeping and chewing. So, we talked a little bit about, Miley Cyrus breaking up with my husband, Liam Helmsworth, which is actually awesome because now Liam can finally move into my house and I can leave my husband. Haha, just kidding. Liam is so delicious though. So they split after an on-again, off-again 10-year relationship, and then they were only married for like 7 months. In an interview with, I believe, Elle magazine this summer, Miley was defiantly not wanting to call herself a wife and talked a lot about how even though she was still in a heterosexual relationship, she still was very much attracted to women, and she said you can't just turn that part of you off. So I thought that was odd, and then they announced, then all of a sudden she was in Italy with Caitlyn Carter, who happened to be previously attached to Brody Jenner, and married last year, and apparently never really got married legally, and have had their relationship on the hills this past season. And photos of them turned up in Italy, and they were kissing, and everything was hunky-dory there. And ever since then, they have just been everywhere together. They've been going to events. They've been making out at clubs. See, there they were in Italy. That was sort of their first public photos. And it was those public photos that prompted Liam to file for divorce. They were hot girl summering all over Italy. And there was a lot of speculation shortly after those photos went live that she had been cheating on him with Caitlyn Carter, and she got super angry. And on Instagram and Twitter, she said, "I can accept that life I've chosen means I must live completely open and transparent with my fans, who I love, and the public 100% of the time. What I cannot accept is being told that I'm lying to cover up a crime I haven't committed. I have nothing to hide. It is no secret that I've been partying in my teens and early 20s. I've not only smoked, but advocated for weed. I've experimented with drugs. My biggest song to date is about dancing on Molly and snorting lines in a bathroom. I effed up and cheated in relationships when I was young." And she sort of went on and on and on about this, but she said that she refused to accept that she was a cheater. She did not cheat on him. She was not going to let it go down like that. She was pissed as all hell. And she said, "But the truth is, once Liam and I reconciled, I was committed. There was no secret to uncover here. I've learned from every experience in my life. I'm not perfect. I don't want to be. It's boring. I've grown up in front of you, but the bottom line is I have grown up. I can admit to a lot of things, but I refuse to admit that my marriage ended because of cheating. Liam and I have been together for a decade. I've said it before, and it remains true. I love Liam and always will, but at this point, I had to make a healthy decision for myself to leave a previous life behind. I am the healthiest and happiest I've been in a long time. You can say I'm twerking, pot-smoking, foul-mouthed hillbilly, but I am not a liar. I'm proud to say I'm simply a different place from where I was when I was younger." And then Liam followed that up by just a quick note as to say that Miley and I have recently separated, and I wish her nothing but health and happiness going forward. This is a private matter, and I have not made, nor will I be making any comments to any journalists or media outlets. Any reported quotes attributed to me are false. So this had lots of people like, holy crap, did Miley cheat? Liam was like, immediately files for divorce after those photos of her on a boat making out with Caitlyn go live. And ever since then, the two of them have been like all over the place, flaunting their relationship everywhere. And apparently Liam is absolutely devastated. He comes from a conservative family in Australia, and this whole thing is sort of embarrassing to him, which is kind of sad. I mean, it's embarrassing to like have a marriage. I don't know. Is it embarrassing for a marriage to end? I don't know. But it shouldn't be embarrassing that your wife left you for a girl. I mean, that's just not embarrassing. That's literally just life. However, what is odd in all of this is that suddenly Caitlyn Carter, who was just broke up with Brody Jenner like in August after being together for 6 years, and Miley Cyrus, who just got out of a marriage with Liam after being in a relationship with him on and off for a decade, are now living together. Weird. Like, no time to sow your wild oats, no time to, spend time on working on yourself. I mean, just straight from a 10-year relationship to, boom, another marriage. And Kaitlynn to, boom, another relationship. And what I find out odd in all of this is that Kaitlynn on the Hills this year was talking about how she wanted to have a marriage, or not a marriage, but a baby with Brody. She's 30, Miley's 26, and Brody did not want to have a baby. And Brody and Kaitlynn had a polyamorous relationship, or a very open relationship, and they talked about that in great detail. And apparently Miley wanted to have a more open relationship with Liam, and he was not down with that. And so ultimately that is what ended their relationship. However, now these two who seemingly wanted to have a polyamorous relationship are now like U-hauling it into each other's houses and living together, which is just so weird to me. I mean, okay, not really. One time when I was in my 20s, actually around the same time I was Miley's age, I dated a guy for 10 days and then decided to live with him. Do you want to know how that worked out? It really didn't. We were broken up in less than a year. I moved in and I moved out within 4 months. Sometimes relationships that start fast actually burn out very quickly as well. I think we all remember Ariana Grande and Pete from last summer. Whoa, they were engaged within like 5 days and then split up by September. So I'm always kind of weirded out when relationships move very fast, especially when you're on the rebound. I mean, I understand there's like this heightened emotional sense of like, oh, I finally found my person. But at the same time, isn't breaking up and breaking off part of like moving on? And Miley seemingly wants everyone to believe that she's this different person. So is this relationship a way for her to like separate herself from the Miley of before and become the Miley of today? I feel like child stars go through this a lot. Obviously, Miley Cyrus grew up before our eyes on Hannah Montana, right? Yeah. And she had this good girl image. She's the daughter of Billy Ray Cyrus, who had a terrible haircut. And now she split up with Liam for a short period of time. She went through that phase where she started wearing strap-on dildos on her and was smoking weed everywhere and was hooking up with girls. Then she seemingly got back together with Liam. Then it's like she goes on and off like, I want to be a good girl, I don't want to be a good girl, I want to be wild, I don't want to be wild. I want to be a lesbian, I don't want to be a lesbian. And I understand she says she's pansexual, so she's like all over the place. But I feel like sometimes this like rebellion that we see in these child stars is like almost like a sense of like they don't even know who they are. So it's hard for me to believe that someone who literally just got divorced is the happiest they've ever been and knows themselves better than anything else. Unless, of course, they had been living a lie for years, and up to which is still odd. I still feel like there's value in taking time to pause and settle before you jump into another relationship, because when you do these kinds of things, it doesn't end well. See, what happened to me when I was Miley's age is I had been dating a guy on and off for 4.5 years. We had lived together. I had separated from him. Finally, was able to break off from a very unhealthy relationship. And the first thing that I did after breaking up with him was plunged into this relationship with another ex-boyfriend. And after 10 days, decided that I wanted to live with him, which ended horribly because we barely knew each other. It's never a good idea to go through these kinds of things. I don't know, you guys. Maybe I'm being too judgmental here. Maybe I'm just being old, but I've just been there, done that, and I've seen this all happen, and I don't even know. And then there's this whole, I'm U-hauling it into my next relationship, and there's this whole, like, I don't get this. And then there's this whole, like, Liam. Poor Liam. I mean, Brody doesn't care. Brody's hitting it up and whooping it up with Josie Canseco's daughter, so he literally could not care two shits what these two are doing. But poor Liam. I mean, they're still legally married. I mean, apparently their marriage is already almost finalized. How is that even possible? I thought it took like 5 years to get divorced in California. I mean, now they're like literally almost finalized. Maybe this is just like, we want to be done as fast as possible. Please sign off on this now. I don't know. But Miley, Kaitlynn, I know you're living together and apparently you love each other and everything is hunky-dory, but let's see where things are 4 months from now and even 4 years from now and who you'll be actually married to and having children with by then. Obviously, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer on anybody's happiness. I just think this is a really rushed decision, and she's like totally like getting her mom on board, and then there's this whole aspect of Kaitlynn having like her family thinking that Caitlynn's doing this for clout, which, let's be honest, who is Caitlyn Carter, to be frank? I mean, all I know is she dated and married kind of Brody Jenner. I don't buy it. I don't even buy their chemistry together. I don't even buy them as a couple. I don't even buy anything that Miley does, because I feel like everything Miley does is for shock value and is like trying to convince us again that she's not a child. And this is very telling because Justin Bieber actually just penned this really long essay on Instagram about like the downfalls of being a child star. And it makes me think and pushes into reality this whole idea of once they've become famous at such young ages, it's hard for them to identify who they are. They get power, and he talked about how he got power and influence and tons of money and everyone telling him he was great as a child, that he had no idea that he wasn't that great, and he didn't understand half the crap that was happening to him, and he got full of himself, the same way that Miley is full of herself. I think sometimes we forget that when children become famous, they actually lose a part of who they are, and then they go on these crazy journeys of self-discovery, and they make these massive mistakes right in front of our eyes. And I can't help but think that this is going to be yet another thing that will crash and burn in our faces, and then like in 2 more months, Miley will be back, like settled down in a monogamous relationship with some guy named Steve who works as a CPA on Wall Street. Miley, please get it together. Maybe something's going on with your mental health. Maybe you just need to take some time out. I don't know. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't buy it. I want to know what your thoughts are. Let me know in the comments below if you think this is a good idea or just another stupid stunt by Miley. All right, you guys. Bye.